This is the beginning of a new era for our country. That's how the supporters of the opposition described their historic victory in yesterday's national election. Initial estimates during the late afternoon were already projecting the incumbent party would lose. The gap continued to widen, and by 8 p.m. there was no doubt. Thousands of people gathered in celebration in the streets of the capital and other major cities. At the defeated party's campaign headquarters, campaigners were unable to hide their disappointment in losing the election. Some even called the election a real tsunami. And this is just the beginning, said the supporters of the country's new leader this morning.
Welcome, everyone, to a new episode of Power and Revolution. And we're going to be playing as the opposition. So it's going to be the return of Ronald Trump. So we're going to have a lot in store for what we have to do to revitalize the country. So for starters, we have a deficit of 12.4%. So we're going to try to bring that down. Inflation is at 6.8%, pretty much almost 7%. That's not good for the country at all. And then we have a crime rate of 6.53. That's not acceptable. So basically in this series, I'm going to do everything that I think the real person is, whose real name is not Ronald Trump, and pretty much do what I think he would do if he returned back to office to change things around. So first, we're going to go to taxes, and we want to encourage growth because our growth is at 4.13. So with the changes we make in the short term, it's going to go down. In the long term, it should go a little bit higher or maybe about the same. So we're going to adjust the taxes, and
no responsible person is in place now.
So first we have to do our cabinet. Almost forgot about that. So for vice president, we're going to pick governor of Florida. For energy, Alaska governor. Homeland Security, I am going to pick governor of Texas. Economy, I'm going to pick the governor of South Dakota. And pretty much fill in everything else. So what's that? Foreign affairs. And we're going to pick this guy. And treasury. Yeah, we'll pick this guy here. And defense. We'll pick him. Justice. Let's see. Does he look like anyone else? We'll go ahead and pick him. Man, this dude needs a haircut. Yeah, I think that would be perfect for education. Let's see, what else? Employment. this guy here. And health. Pick him. And these guys look similar. Let's see. Agriculture. So transportation. Pick her. And housing. We'll pick this guy here. Alright, so now we can go to taxes. So we're going to do a reform, and we're going to call this the Save America Act. So let's drop that to 23.7. Drop that to 9.85. What about... Okay, so we'll drop that down to 9.8. Even do one for the upper class. It won't be as much. So let's see how people feel about that. Alright, so it's pretty much the same. So we'll go ahead with that, and we'll name it. Alright, let's see what else. We'll go with this. We'll drop that down to an even 15%. No, actually, let's make that 14.75. We'll add that. Increase that to 30. Increase that to $20 per person. So let's see what that's going to do so far. Alright, so that's close to 80%, which isn't bad. Alright, so let's see. Alright, since crime is so high, we're going to drop this down. Actually, how much are we bringing in? 877,000. So let's take a quick look at this. And of course, Democrats don't like it, but don't need to punish the legal gun owners. Let's see. We could do a value-added tax. I'm only going to do this to help with inflation. And if you saw Politics Gaming's Economic Tutorial 3.0, this was brought up as a weapon against inflation. So company turnover tax, we're going to make that 3%. Alright, so still have strong support, but it is bipartisan. I'm not sure how realistic that would be in real life, but oh well. And alright, so we're going to do that for gambling. I'm not going to touch the financial transaction just yet. Don't believe the real person would do that, but I mean, I could be wrong. And just like this, I don't really think he would implement this either, but gonna do that anyway. So we have strong support for that. From the models that I've been playing, I believe it's going to reduce the deficit by close to 4%. Oh, and the wine, no, we're not going to raise the liquor tax. We're going to raise that. So how much support? People aren't going to like that, but yeah, is 51 million really going to make that much of a difference? Nah, we're not going to do that at all. So we're going to push that through. We're going to go to health and tax exemptions for companies. And make that total. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and pass that. And we're going to reduce 1 star for hospital treatment and do that. Genetic diseases, fight against cancer, AIDS, handicap services, geriatric departments, psychiatric departments, emergency departments. So I can reduce that by 1 star, and that still leaves us with 3.2.
I think you're doing a good job. And you're hardworking.
Okay, so Australia has a wildfire. We're gonna 10 million. 10 million. And we'll do 5. Alright, so now we need to address the crime rate, which is starting to go up some. So for now, we're going to do 2 stars for public safety. And we want to increase local district police. So later on, we're going to invest in a vice squad, and we're going to start off with hiring 33,000, well, not 33, 30,000 police officers. And that should help start to curb the crime wave that's happening.
Undeniably, you have inside you the founding values of society, such as love for family and respect for parents. May the heavens support you and your actions.
The level of our budget deficit concerns me a lot. The most embarrassing thing is that my apprehension is shared by others. Our partners who are not delighted with our radical policies, and the banks which are observing us with increasing suspicion.
Alright, so let's take a quick look at the paper and see what's going on. And alright. Just want to see how the rest of the country is reacting to our policy changes. Okay, so let's take a quick look at unemployment. Alright, so that's still a little too low. So we're going to cut back on employment agency and unemployment checks. Going to help the workforce a little more. So we still have about 46 billion that's going to go into the economy. All right. 570 people is really not much to worry about.
Your commitment to defending family values is a model for the whole of humanity. You are setting yourself up today as a herald for the civilization of tomorrow.
All right, quick look at the paper again. Alright, so we're getting some okay support so far. Alright, what was that? Alright, so what else do we want to do at this point? Let's go to housing. we're going to rehabilitate about 100,000 homes. Alright, so that went up a little bit. So did our quarterly loan. Alright, real quick. So we're going to authorize referendums. And let's see when Save America Act will... Alright, so that's going to pass on the 23rd, so I have a little bit of time. Once that goes through, I'll try to start reducing the interest rate, or negotiate the interest rate. So inflation is already starting to go down some. So we want to help encourage that. So we're going to increase the percentage by 0.5%.
1 week before the beginning of the festival, the hotels are full of bursting. Photographers and TV crews have gone all out again. Your presence, even if it's just for a day, would light up our event and would restore the image of our national culture. And can't you imagine yourself on a magazine cover, chatting with some of the most glamorous stars? So, I'll put you on the agenda.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
Okay, so that's been added to our economy now.
I must confess to you that the current level of our budget deficit is not at all reassuring. It weakens our economy while continuously creating more debts, the interest on which we will have to pay.
Okay, so for industry, we're going to go ahead and privatize the auto industry. Not sure what happened there. So that's getting a lot of support. So let's look at our trade balance. So it's a little bit lower than the previous year. So the United States heavily relies on semiconductor imports. We don't produce enough on our own. So the whole goal is to be more self-sufficient. So it's going to benefit us to try to encourage more production domestically. So we're going to do a subsidy of $25 billion. And for now, since China is the biggest producer, we're going to do a tariff on them for 25% on semiconductors. And later on, as this starts to go up, we're actually going to place sanctions on China and block their exports of semiconductors. also going to do something else. Let's see. So electric vehicles. So construction of that. So who's the largest producer is more than likely China, and it is. So again, we're going to put a 15% tariff on electric vehicles from China. And later on, we may do a subsidy on that sector. So water networks. So we don't have enough water networks. So we're going to do a subsidy of $10 billion. It would probably benefit us more to privatize that. So then, with the $10 billion subsidy, so we're basically getting about $12 billion back. All right, we were kicked out of the World Trade Organization, but that's not a big deal to us at all.
I have to tell you that I am filled with pride to be the mother of a leader who is so loved by the people. But don't forget what I used to tell you when you came home from school with a good grade. Being good isn't enough. You have to be the best.
And then let's not forget that our runner has always publicly supported your policies, and that's good for your image.
Alright, so let's see how the rest of the country is reacting to our policies. So let's see. So we're being praised by the G7. Okay, so not bad so far. So the next thing we're going to do is manage our international networks. So we're not interested in India, Israel. Pakistan's questionable, but no. The same with Venezuela. No for Brazil. No for France. Saudi Arabia, no. Thailand, Uzbekistan, Switzerland, Egypt, no. We're not interested in any of those for the time being. So China, we're going to put about 100 agents there. Russia. Let's see, do we have enough for... So that didn't go the way that I wanted it to. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna do industrial spying. Actually, no priority goals. We'll keep it at that. And let's bump North Korea up to 30. So we're going to increase international agents to 300, which is $43 million. Going to bump national agents up to 50,000. That's about 611 million. And we want to increase our cyber analysts to just make that 10,000. Agent training, I'm gonna bump that up. That's gonna be about $23 billion. And actually, let's go back and we're gonna put our top agent in China, because that's our biggest threat. Actually, and let's go to alright, so alright, so guess in this version Russia didn't attack Ukraine.
Many people are left in the
I want to quit because we got kicked out of the World Trade Organization, but I'm going to refuse that resignation. So the next thing is we want to get immigration under control. So we're going to go with 930 for the wall. It's 3.3 billion. Once that's passed, we're going to start going after illegal immigrants. Alright. Fragrant fabric. We'll go ahead and patent that. Portugal just created a space program. Okay.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
After privatizing this sector, it will be hard to say right away whether we will come out on top financially. Selling our shares was definitely a success and will provide money up front, but on the other hand, this was a very dynamic sector that let us bring in substantial profits each year. Hindsight will, of course, be 2020.
I'd like to congratulate you in person for your popularity. The way the country trusts you moves me, and I am happy to work with you now and undoubtedly for many years to come.
Okay. So what else do we have to do here? let's just go ahead and deal with the cybersecurity issue. We'll invest almost 28 billion into cyber protection, and while that's going on, we're going to invest another 93 million to awareness of cybersecurity. And we're not thinking about animal welfare. Don't care.
Our best coders are working around the clock. They will be working closely with manufacturers and national operators. I will get back to you when the networks are undergoing beta testing. Our task force has coordinated with the PR firm to prepare for the campaign. It will start in 2 weeks. You have taken good initiative. It is indeed appropriate to anticipate and make our citizens ready to face the never-ending threat of cybercrime.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
Okay, so our approval rating is now up to 100%, and it looks like, for the most part, the Save America Act was pretty well liked, for the most part. Alright, so let's see how inflation is going. So still continuing to go down. Alright, not enough time to spend.
This year, we have been fighting against the record melting of ice caps during the summer. Prior to the year 2000, their surface area in the summer was 7 million square kilometers. Last summer, it was less than 2 million square kilometers, which shattered the previous record set in 2012 when it was 4 million. According to climate experts, there's a high and undeniable acceleration in this phenomenon, and it is conceivable that in less than 5 years, complete melting will have taken place so that we could reach the North Pole in a boat.
Alright, so that interest rate has not kicked in yet, so this should go down even more once it... Huh? Actually, it did go through. Okay. Anyway.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
Alright, so let's go to police. Alright, so our policy has started working, and with the high amount of crime, we're actually going to build a few more prisons. So right now we're going to build 15 prisons. It's going to take 2 months to reach that goal. But we're not going to be real tolerant on the amount of crime going on.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
So in order for businesses to do well like we want them to, we need to reduce the crime so people feel safer to support these businesses. So we're going to bump this up to 988,000 police officers. And let's see. And then we're going to do surveillance. All right, so let's see how that's going to. Let's see. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. So, oh, that's too much. So we'll do this as a reform. And okay, we're going to call this the Make America Safe Act 2023. And what's the other thing that I saw? So we're not going to go for the self-driving vehicles. That's weird. For some reason, that seems a little off to me. I would think that the Republicans would heavily support that over the Democrats. I could be wrong, and yeah, I think that might be a little off. I think that's the Republicans that would actually be more supportive of that, of getting rid of it at least. Oh, so it's not letting me use the same reform. Oh well, we'll just go ahead and pass that anyway.
Prospective analysis, coupled with the Brown model on group psychotectonics, has allowed us to identify a potential ally. In this case, a terrorist group that we have already approached. The use of this organization would allow us, in all probability, to boost the impact of any destabilization action to 5.6. That is an increase of 3.78, while remaining in a non-exposure rational. Would you like us to arrange a discreet meeting with this operations leader?
No, we're not going to do that.
The bill has been voted on and the law has been passed.
Okay, so the law has been passed.
You're really peachy keen. And I tell you that I keep harping on to my great-great-grandchildren about it. It's true. You're the creme de la creme. And I've seen them come and go.
There's nothing to say. The event was broadcast on the TV channels of the entire world. The biggest international stars were at the event. The public was captivated. For 15 days, we were the center of the world.
Okay, so the Czech Republic wants to meet with us. We'll accept that. So with our foreign policy, we all know the debacle that happened in Afghanistan, and we're out of $85 billion of taxpayer money due to the equipment that is still over there that's now being used. So we're going to do a couple things. For one thing, we're not going to be supportive of anything in regards to that country. So we're going to close the embassies. We're not interested in talking with them unless they change their ideology. And we're banning the leader. And we're even going to place an arms embargo on them. So we're not going to go to war with them. We're not sending any troops in for a special operation. We're just not going to deal with them at all. And let's go to... So we're going to punish them in a couple different ways. So software. We're going to block imports. And computer hardware, we're going to block imports as well.
Incredible! The first prize, can you believe it?
Well, this type of event is absolutely essential for our citizens. Since the dawn of humanity, people have had the need to ease the burdens of everyday life and to be entertained. We should have only art and culture in our city's center, because they serve this goal. It's what makes this city so rich and vibrant.
Alright, so now let's invest in education. Invest in agriculture and general education. We want to be more self-sufficient in our food supply. So we're going to be very supportive of the farmers. So we're extremely lacking in production of vegetables. Tea, we're not even producing that, so we're going to go ahead and exonerate the tea sector. Sugar, we could subsidize that. Rice, we're going to do about we'll do a 6% price reduction for rice. And beef, we're actually not that far from meeting our consumption needs, so let's go with 750 million and see how that works out. And then the foul. let's go with let's just go with an even 1 billion for now. And there's one thing I wanted to take care of real quick also, and that is our pharmaceutical industry. So we produce large amount over our consumption. So we have a very high supply, so we're going to lower the price. I think 5% is good. And let's look at consumption, because I believe China is right below us, and they are, but they don't produce. I think that's off also. I believe I read that the United States actually gets the bulk of their pharmaceutical drugs from China. So I think that may be off, but I'm not 100%. I just read that in one thing, and I can't remember where I read that at. But in terms of the gameplay, we're gonna, nah, I probably shouldn't do this, but eh. So we're gonna block exports from China. So let's go ahead and read the paper and see how the nation feels about us. We're still at the height of our popularity, and let's see, finally someone truly understands us. Okay. Alright, so I did see something. Let's go back to water networks. And let's see. How much am I subsidizing? Okay, that's 10 billion. So it already started to go up by roughly almost a full 2% since we started subsidizing. So I think I'm going to end this episode. It's a lot longer than what I usually do. And right from this, I'm going to go and start on the second one. It may not be as long. But I'm going to concentrate on farming, do a little more immigration, invest a little more in education, probably build a number of different schools in the different educational brackets, and we're going to start construction on high-speed internet. we're going to go ahead and max out the 4G. And we're really going to concentrate on the high-speed internet. And let's see what else. Again, I'm not looking to go to war with anyone. So I'm taking my model after the real person. That's, well, you know what? I might as well just say his name. Gonna really model after Trump's ideology. And some things I may not be 100% on, so I'll just try to wing it. Let's take a quick look at our debt. So I'm going to start sitting with these other countries to negotiate the interest rate to bring that down. So, I mean, we're already a little over 3% down from our initial deficit. And inflation is continuing to go down, which is good. Growth, however, is suffering for now, but in the long term, it's hopefully going to go up. And hopefully I make the right decisions on that. Crime has already started going down. So we're getting ourselves into a good position. So again, thank you for the support. Let me know what you think of this series. Again, I'm still going to continue with the China series. It's just some things that I want to, a few things I want to change ideology-wise. So I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to go about it. But I am going to continue that series. Like I said in the community tab, it's just going to be delayed for a while until I can figure out what I really want to do with that series. But again, thank you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And please help me get to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you, and I will see you soon.